Hey, welcome back, friendos. It is I, the DrBossKey, and today we are doing an iteration on our cutscene dialogues for the game. So why don't I jump over and share where we're at. Thank you so much, Dimitri, for the turnaround. Let me see here, and 100% more me. And just for the treats out there, Loki. Can I show Loki? Kitty. Yeah. Who's a good girl? Anyways, I digress. She's just looking extra cute right now. You know, like can't resist cutie butts. Okay. First off, why don't we just jump in and take a look? All right. So I've had to spend a little bit of time understanding how I want to try to tech art this into the game without creating a crazy amount of texture images. So previously, these dialogues, they're both still considered enemy types in the engine, but they were individual enemies, so you could shoot them because that's just the way that we've done our interactive dialogue system. It's a little bit unique, but it's also a creative limitation sort of how things have come together in the engine. So what I have decided, Dimitri, is instead of doing images for everything, so we'll have this, we'll have basically the plate here. And we'll get into more detailed feedback in a second. But as you can tell, I also was able to wire up essentially the text. And then when you destroy the dialogues, the text goes away with the dialogue. So yay us. That means we only need 2 major textures as opposed to essentially, I don't know, like 16, 18, something like that. Super, super cool. Okay, so now that you've seen it, why don't we jump into the feedback? All right. Let's see here. Turn up the music just a little bit. Okay. Let's see. First, let me make this just easier for you, so you don't have to just go scroll through a bunch of images. All right. Come on. There we go. All right. Cool. And I think I can just delete this. Okay. So first off, they're animated. I'm really enjoying the animation overall. I think we're getting a bit of that nice like sci-fi. It's not really dystopic in this case, but it's a bit more that sci-fi, which is something I was really looking for in channeling this. And I like the screen glitches, super cool. We'll get into more of the details here, but thank you so much. I enjoy the color. It was really good seeing the color test kind of come together. With that, then let me just run down the items here. So, for the final version of these, let's make sure we deliver them in left and right, because the animations, I can't just flip them anymore and have them work, I don't think. So, essentially, in the world, when characters are talking, and maybe this won't be for the first version, but when they're talking, they're generally having a discourse, and they're left or right of each other. So the inner parts of the dialogues are across the way. So, so yeah, that's just a minor note there. And then, so I thought you did a good job with the Loki touch up. So you can just see it here with Loki, I like that you tried the side-facing version. I think that looks good. I think what we're missing, though, is we're really missing the face of the characters, because this is one of the only ways that you get a good sense for that. So yes, go ahead and let's do a touch-up on Loki. Just bring her up to speed. Yeah, I know you look at something from almost a couple years ago and you're like, ooh, like we've grown together, so for sure, and achieving our style. So thank you for that. Let's see here, a couple bits here. So on the nameplate, we need to change the nameplates to the Kusanagi font. That way they're in our style. Generally, the rule of thumb for me is the nameplate and description titles are in the Kusanagi font. I know it's a little bit harder to read, but it's more stylized and sci-fi. And then for the inner area plate, that is I'm using Roboto, and you don't have to worry about that. But I just need to make sure that we have the exported plates with the correct font. That also is another thing here, is that when we do the final delivery for the plates, let's make sure we have empty plates as well. So that way I can fairly easily tech art in other characters and also change the names out fairly easily. Okay, so there's that. We just talked about that. Yeah, so here's the thing. This could be cool. So what I'm imagining here, right? And let me just change, what's this gooder? This gooder duder. Oh, I'm getting a little tired. It's a long day. Okay, so this is this. Let me see here. Try that. That should be that there. And okay, cool. So, all right, cool. So, right now the plate is just fading in, but what I'm thinking is I am pretty sure we can get in an animation for essentially the what I'm thinking, right, is that, and feel free to riff on this a little bit, but when a dialogue plate appears, essentially the left side of the dialogue flickers in, right, like just a couple frames, like because this is going to be just a once-off, and I need to get the timing for that. I mean, we're talking like maybe a quarter second, half second. I'll fudge it on my side, but we should probably go ahead and do like I think we can stick with 8 frames, and then let's have this thing where this essentially this plate slides out maybe, and then what I'm going to do is then I'll swap them, and then we'll have the, essentially then this will swap to this, and then it'll be the full one that we have there. So yeah, so I was thinking like the left side character appears with the flickery thing, the plate kind of unlocks like a scroll, right? Maybe you can put a little sound effect on that thing. Yeah, so maybe it kind of just grows out or slides out. So, and then I'll do a swap with that. So I think that might be cool. I mean, we might even be able to do, because it's again, 8 frames is much, right? So we might be able to do a thing where it's like the name comes in, right? And then it stays, and then the character portrait appears, right? And then, like it's actually too many frames that is, but maybe we get 3 or 4 frames for then the slide out. And yeah, so I think that'll be actually really cool. I didn't get around to thinking about that until we really got to this version. And then the reverse of that, since we've got an intro, you can see here when I'm shooting and destroying the dialogue. So now we could do a thing where essentially the plate closes. I'll pop away the text and it goes, and then it does the reverse of like the intro. So it goes and off it goes, right? So yeah, it's just some food for thought. But I think we can get away with that, and that'll be nice, like a little laugh. Okay. So I'm not sure if this is what you meant to have happen, but you can see here. Can I do this? Actually, I just show it. Yeah. So here, you can see that we have the connection status online. I don't mind having like a bit of the glitch, but I think the thing is that it's out here. So if you want to have this, I don't know if it's an intention or not, but if it's intentional, pull that maybe in here as well. So just so it's not, I think the big thing is that it's sort of sticking out. I could be convinced to maybe leave it, but it feels like we're leaving some resolution on the table for this thing. So speaking of which, right, if you take a look at these, they're pretty close in terms of how we're using it, but clearly you can see here, like with the top plate, I mean, we're leaving some of the frame resolution, just sides of it on the table. So I don't know if you want to make a little bit more use of that or not. We've got the texture resolution. So okay, then let's see what else was there. Okay. Yes. Okay, so this one, yeah, the botter. This is bugging me here a little bit. So we have the main frame, right, of the let me see here. All right, cool. So we have this line here, and it feels like I feel like what we need to do is pull this line out to be either aligned here, because it does not really align with the bottom element, and or we could pull that line maybe even closer out to here. I figure, again, like we need all the pixels we can get, and we've got all this gorgeous high resolution character art, and this is about as big as it's showing up on screen. So why don't we see if we can widen it a little bit, pull the characters in, just zoom them in a little bit, still keep a lot of the full body frame, but I figured that would be a good use of that. So that's something I was noticing. And yeah, so that was part of the thing about character sizes, so I won't read that to you because it's in the notes. And then I did a really crude mock-up of basically this here, right? Which is I just try to boost the character size a little bit more. Maybe we can, you know, like we can we can increase the size. I really want to get more of that, you know, like even though the faces don't animate, which we could talk about, you know, if you want to think about maybe a very basic animation with like eye blinks. We don't think it need to be like I don't think we need to do phonemes, but you know, like maybe there's a way we could also within the animation create just a very, very light amount of like the character, like not popping around necessarily, but that might be a thing. Anyways, I digress. But here I just did a very crude mock-up of like, hey, how can we boost the character resolution a little bit more and just take advantage of the art. All right, so other small thing here is you can see that the top frame for the top of the dialog box element doesn't align to the nameplate. It was kind of, it's bugging me a little bit. So, and that's basically from here to here. So I would either pull the whole thing up a little bit so it aligns. This probably what makes the most sense. We also might get a tiny bit more pixels out of that as well. So that was what that feedback was. And let's see, what else do we have here? All right, so there's that dialogue top element. This one for you, Dimitri, food for thought. I'm not fully married to this. I just want you to chew on it. So, and the thinking here is basically this, right? Is that when I'm looking at these things, when I'm looking at them, I really appreciate that the frame has a bit of like a shift wiggle, which is great. I also am just wondering if this top element here, if we want to do a little more with it, we could pop them away. We could have them like close and then open, you know, we could have it, we could move them across and snap them together. Maybe it doesn't have to be a lot, but just, you know, like you let me know, like, you know, let me know if you're feeling, like I said, I'm not fully married to it. But that was something I was noticing here. All right. And what else we got? Yeah. Okay. That's it. Pretty cool. Like this is really going to bring this. It's going to, you know, like these are some of the very first things that players interact with in the game. So you know, while we're not doing full 3D and, you know, phonemes and all that good stuff, you know, I still appreciate that, you know, we can add these little bit of touches. So to the folks that have been out there watching and following along, thank you very much. Thank you for the questions and the support. Thank you for the play tests. And the game wouldn't be what it is without you guys. Dimitri, you're doing a fantastic job. And to everyone else out there, we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.